So this is the journey home from work to my house in China. Um, the reason I record this as well is because I don't particularly go the same way home as I do going to work. So it's not just like well, you're seeing the same stuff but like in reverse. I mean, some of it you will, but then you'll get past that. Because like there's this basically it's just like along the road, and then you'll get to the point where the two videos will like collide. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough. Like the pollution's like getting to me a little bit, and because we're getting like closer and closer to winter, like the air's getting drier and drier, so I need to cough a bit. So there may be a few coughs in the video, but yeah, there'll be a point where the two videos will collide, and you'll see like everything you know until then, and after then, yeah, it'll all be new for you. But I'm sure you've read the video title by now, and you're wondering, what on earth do I mean? Well, I'm sort of terrified, I'm sort of worried and afraid to go to a specific McDonald's in China. And it's a 24-hour McDonald's, and it's right by me, and I'm super worried about going again. I mean, I go every so often. Like, I would probably go, like, as of recording, I'll probably go, like, later today, and then maybe something else will happen, and I won't be able to put it in the video. Actually, yeah. I think before I start to render the video, I will go to this McDonald's to get food, and then render it, just in case something happens. And then I'll put it like at the end. So, McDonald's is a fairly simple place. Especially in China. You get these big kiosks, these big old computers, and you can just, they're all touchscreens, just like poke around and order whatever. Or you can go up to the tills and speak Chinese to them. If you don't speak Chinese, that's not actually that big a problem. You can just point to things. They give you a menu because they don't. Because China has this idea that like if you're not Chinese, you don't speak Chinese. Because like, yeah. Especially in like businesses that do that. So they give you a menu and you can just point to stuff. And you can either say, like, you want this in Chinese, or you can say, like, or you just point to it and just, like, not say anything. You can say stuff like, oh, I want this, or whatever. But it, like, me, because, like, I understand, like, some Chinese, like, I can order stuff in Chinese. At like, restaurants and stuff, so, like, I kind of just point to it and say, Jigga. Like, what have Jigga? And then they like point to it and they go like, oh, jigga jigga, and I'm like, yeah, doi doi. It's just like, yeah, correct. Yeah. There's enough rambling about like how to order from a McDonald's, because we all know how to order from a McDonald's. It's pretty easy. I'm not gonna lie. So, the weird things that have happened to me in McDonald's. This is a specific McDonald's, so it's not like all of them, like my experiences in all McDonald's, because most of my experiences in McDonald's have been pretty much the same. You walk in, you poke on the machines and order food, and then it's pretty good. Like, it's much better than it is in the West. Or you go up to the till, they give you a menu, you point at things, and then they ask you a few questions, and then you're like, yeah, and away you go. And it's always like delivered pretty quickly, which I really enjoy. Like, all the food in China is delivered pretty quickly. The first time I had food delivered to me in China, I was super confused. I was like, what? I should be waiting longer. Because in the UK you wait so long, you wait a while for food, and it's expected. And then, like, here it's just like, okay, I want this, and then like the waiter goes away, and then 5-10 minutes later, like 5 minutes later, like you don't have food at your table, and it's great. Yeah. So McDonald's is pretty good for that, as is like anywhere else in China. But you came to hear the juicy stories of my fears for this one McDonald's. So let's run it down. It's a 24-hour McDonald's. The tamest thing that's ever happened to me there. This has actually happened twice. Sort of. Well, it's not really happened twice, but it's 2 incidents with like me not wanting sauce on my burgers. I mean, I don't like sauces, and that's just me. So I think the tamer one is a guy asked. It's like I said, oh, I don't like no sauce, and the cashier didn't understand what I said, so she called up like some guy, and this guy was speaking to me in English. As they do have English speakers at McDonald's, which is fantastic because it's super needed for foreigners. It really is. Anyway, yeah. So like he's speaking to me, and he's like, "No salt on the fries." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. Yes, salt on fries. No sauce on burger." And like, we had to like go through that, and it was alright. It was okay. It went well, and that was fine. So the next like tamish thing is also about like sauce. Like, it was really weird for me. Like, I went there the night before, and I saw that they were shut due to like maintenance, so I was a bit. And then like something spooky, something scary that kind of happened. So I was a bit worried about going the next day, but I went anyway, and like I asked for like no sauce on a burger, and the cashier said, "Hold on a moment," and I'm like, "What?" And then some English speaker comes up to me, and they say, "Sorry, all of our burgers have sauce." And I'm like, "Okay, can you make one without sauce?" And they go, "No, our machines are turned off." And I'm like, "Okay, I will go elsewhere then." And they're like, "Sorry." I'm like, "Well, okay, whatever, like, I understand maintenance and whatnot." It's just kind of like unfortunate, but whatever. That's basically the tamest things that has happened. Like the least strange. I don't know, maybe that's a little strange. The next 2 happen on the very same day, and it really, really made me feel weird. So I turned up to the McDonald's, and this white woman sees me. She's like, "Whoa, a white guy." She taps on the glass to get her friend's attention, and then she points at me. And I'm like, "What? What?" I feel like a little confused at this point, like I'm being pointed at by a foreigner. And that's very strange in China, because foreigners don't like to bring attention to other foreigners, because you kind of feel special being like the only white person surrounded by all these Chinese people, because they all like to stare and look at you and always interested in what you're doing, and you kind of feel like a bit of a rock star. You're like, "Ah, I'm so popular, I'm such a celeb here, yeah." And like some foreigners love that feeling. I'm not like super fond of it, but whatever. Yeah. So it's sort of like weird to like have foreigners like point at you like that. But like nothing happened from that. Like I went into the McDonald's and I was on like the machine near them, and like I thought they were struggling a bit, but whatever. I mean, they went upstairs, so I guess like they're fine. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, once I had like ordered my things, I see this guy, and he's like in the Chinese menu, but he's American, and he comes out of it and he goes back into the Chinese menu, I walk over and I go, "Hey man, do you want this in English?" And he looks at me and he's like, "What? It can go in English?" Very like confused he was, and I thought that was funny for me, but whatever, right? So on my trip to McDonald's, I'm actually gonna like try and take a picture of this because I think it's funny. The first screen. Hold on, let me make a note of this. Like, okay, there. The first screen, which you'll see, is you'll just see it. Like you see like the two, like the dining preferences at the top. It'll be in Chinese at first, and then you have like the eat in and take out, and then underneath that is Zhongwen, which is Chinese for Chinese, and English, which is English for English. Fantastic, right? And he didn't know this menu. He didn't like see these bottom options. So I press the English button, and then it changes the top words. It changes like all the Chinese like into English. So it says dining preference and eat in and take out. And I'm like, yeah, all you do is press this. And then I press it. And then he presses it. And then he presses it again and again and again. And I'm like, okay, it's in English. Like, it's in English, man. Do you want to eat in or take out? And then like we got through that and we had a small conversation. He's like, at this point in time he had been there for 2 months. And I was very confused because if you can't work a Chinese like kiosk in like your first 2 months, you don't go out enough. You don't go out enough at all. And it's just not observant enough, I guess, as well, because it's right there. If anyone didn't see it, then shame on you. Shame on you completely. Anyway. Yeah. This was also the first time he used like WeChat to pay for anything, and I think that's astounding in like 2 months. Like not paying for anything through WeChat, because it's just so thin. Like, by the end of my first month, I stopped taking my wallet out because I didn't need it. I mean, that's not really true. Like, I kept like my wallet around, but I didn't like put it in my pockets or anything, because I didn't need it like urgently. I only needed it for the metro, but now I got like a bike at the end of my first month, like in my second month, and yeah, it's been good to me ever since. Like, I love the thing. But okay, I think that's all like the normal stuff that's happened, and now the spooky one. So the real spooky thing that happened to me at this McDonald's. It's the same McDonald's, guys. It's the same one. And I feel like more comfortable going in the day when like people are around, so no one like will do stuff like this, rather than like going at night when like this can happen. So I go to this McDonald's. It's 24 hours, but it's shut due to maintenance. That's fine, right? That's fine. So I get back on my bike. I turn it so I can like just ride onto the road off the pavement, because you can ride your bikes on the pavement in China, it's fine. And this guy, he comes up to the door, he sees that it's shut, he's a little annoyed by it. Like, you can just tell when someone's annoyed, even in a different language. And he comes up to me, he points in the direction I'm facing, and he's speaking Chinese to me. And I just kind of say, 听不懂，我的中文不好. And I'm sure he understands, because like 听不懂 is I don't understand, and 我的中文不好 is my Chinese is not good, or like my Chinese is bad. But I think he misheard me, or he just, I don't know what happened at this point, because he backed away and he sounded really offended and angry, and he just started going, okay, and I'm like, alright, I'm out of here. So I drive off slowly, like, to the pavement, because there's, like, a street worker, like, sat on his, like, big old street cleaning bike. And, like, I get to, like, the part where the pavement meets the road, and then I check my mirrors, and I see this guy, and he's running. He's not just, like, running, like, for the sake of it, he's running at me. And he starts, like, shouting in Chinese, and I'm like, no, 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 no. And I just, like, go as fast as I can away from them, like, nope. I just speed off, like, from 0 to, like, 50 kilometers. I'm just like, no, I'm out of here. I mean, like, well, you can't just, like, speed off like that. You have to, like, start slow there, but, like, I just went for, like, a speedy getaway, and then just drove off, and I was a little, like, worried and, like, confused by it, and, like, I know I needed to go to a shop for, like, some extra hand wash, because I'd run out. So, like, I got to a shop, like, it took me, like, a couple minutes to get down the road to going, like, 50 kilometers an hour, which is, like, 30 miles an hour for anyone particularly interested. And, like, yeah, so, like, it takes me a couple minutes. Like, I get to the shop, I get off my bike, put down the kickstand, and I'm like, okay, is he around? Like, I look, and it's like, if I see him, I'm just going home. If I don't see him, I'm going in the shop. So, like, I don't see him, and, like, I kind of, like, run to the shop a little. I mean, I don't really run, I just kind of, like, briskly walk, just, like, speeding up. I'm just like, I want to be in, I want to get it, I want to get out, I want to go home. And, like, I get out the shop after paying, I look around again, he's not there, I get on my bike and I ride home and everything's fine. But it was just a very, like, scary sort of thing, like, having someone chase you because you didn't understand what they were saying. Crazy. But that's why I'm a little, like, nervous, a little worried about going to this McDonald's again, because stuff like that always kind of happens. Not just, like, being chased, but just weird stuff. But anyway, like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you like these. Do tell me in the comments below.